guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a 36-week pregnancy update. So this has taken everything in me. There's going to be sound outside because I forgot to close the window. Taken everything in me to kind of organize. My room is a mess, as you can see behind me. I put a bit of makeup on, which took some effort for sure. I have no clothes that fit. It's just 36-week pregnant life. So Sam is has taken the kids to a water park today, so I have a bit of time to myself. I've already started some baby laundry. I go back and forth every pregnancy, I think. I always sort of think, why do I have to wash the new baby clothes? And I don't totally get it. Oh, I forgot to put my wedding ring on. Oh well. I don't think it's necessary, but I always end up doing it just because I feel like everybody else does it. And let's be serious, it's like half a load of washing because the baby clothes is so small. I really only have a handful of new things, so I put those in the wash. I'll hang them out later. So let me update you. There's lots to update you on. So I'm 36 weeks pregnant today. And if you remember, I'll be induced at 38 weeks. So we are definitely on the home stretch. I have 2 weeks left to go. So since I spoke to you last, the iron issues have improved for sure. I got tested again, got my blood taken, and my iron came back good, so I didn't need to have another round of infusions. So that was good. But definitely something I'm going to continue doing, having it tested after pregnancy, and maybe just taking a supplement like all the time. So that's been good. Couple other things that have happened. It was I want to say 2 weeks ago now, which sounds really bad. I need to sort it out. But 2 weeks ago, both my kids seemed like they were coming down with a cold. I wasn't too concerned about it. But then by the end of the day, they both had really, really rosy cheeks. First it was Jake, and I thought it was like a reaction to sunscreen because we had been out in the sun, playing in the pool and stuff. And you know, sometimes the sun and sunscreen can do that. But then Ellie's kind of like got red too. I thought that's pretty weird. So I figured just from Googling that it was slap cheek or fifth disease. It sounds quite serious, but it's just a viral infection. Like a cold, but the main symptom is the really rosy cheeks. So I called the home doctor, which again is like, in this time, I'm like, are they gonna come? Are they gonna make us go get tested for COVID? Blah, blah, blah. It was fine. He didn't even mention COVID. We have really, really low rates here in Queensland, thank God. So he looked at them, he said their ears were fine, Ellie's throat was a bit red, and definitely slap cheek with the cheeks. And then he sort of put it into his thing and said there's nothing you can do, it's viral, they don't need antibiotic, it's just gonna take time for them to get better. And then he said, but what I am seeing here is it can be dangerous to pregnant women. Not to me, but to the baby. And I think the risk I read is that it can cause the baby to get anemia, which is kind of ironic. But he said it's mostly an issue early on. Like, you know, I'm 36 weeks, the baby is fully developed now, they're just gaining fat. So he wasn't too worried about it, but did suggest I talk to my GP. So that next day I had a GP appointment over the phone. So my doctor called me, and through that last 24 hours, I don't know if I just got in my head about it or something, but I really felt that I had decreased fetal movement. I felt like the baby's regular patterns of movement were off, and I wasn't able to get a reaction out of them the way I usually do. So I got a bit freaked out. When I spoke to him, I mentioned the fifth disease, or the slap cheek, in the kids, and then I mentioned the decreased movement. And he suggested that I go into the hospital, we have a ward here called the MAC, and it's, I forget what it stands for, maternity something, obviously. So it's for people that are, you know, past their first trimester and have any sort of issue, so that you don't have to go and sit in emergency. So we went there. We got Sam's parents to come over. I was hoping it was going to be a quick thing. They would get me in, they would you know, listen to the baby and everything. We ended up waiting quite a while, which is not, it's never like a comforting feeling, you know, because then I think like it's the same waiting room when where you go when you're in labor. So then I'm picturing like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be sitting here in labor and they're so busy. And anyway, so they finally got us in. We probably waited a good hour before we even got in. And in that time I had felt the baby move. It wasn't as much or normal, but I had felt them move. And we went in, they put us, I don't know if we just lucked out, but we actually got a really nice room, not even like a triage curtain room, like an actual room with a TV in it. And we were able to chill, and basically they just hooked me up to the monitors and gave me the little clicker thing to hit every time I felt movement. And then of course you start feeling silly, right? You're like clicking, like the baby's moving, the baby's fine, the heart rate's fine. They weren't concerned about the slap cheek. They said, you're far enough along, like don't worry about it. So we basically just sat there and was monitored for an hour, and they said everything looked great. But I did want to mention it because this is the first time I went in this pregnancy. With Jacob I went in once, with Ellie I went in, I don't know, honestly probably 10 times, because I didn't know. I was so scared all the time. But if you're scared, just go. Don't worry about it. And they're always so kind there, at least, I mean, most of the time. But you know best. And what's the harm, you know? Like, especially here in Australia, like we have free healthcare. Like, you know, why wouldn't I just go in and get checked out and get some peace of mind? And don't feel bad about worrying, because you worry because you care. And don't let anybody talk you out of what you're feeling. And my husband's always really good about that. He's always like, well, let's just go. Like, what's the harm? We'll get my parents to come watch the kids. Let's just go. So we did, and everything was fine. The baby was fine. And the next day, their movement, I keep wanting to say her, and I don't know why. Her movement, I don't know, we'll see. But the next day the movement was normal again, and it's kind of like crazy now. Like, they don't have the baby does not have a lot of room in there, because when they're moving it's like really intense. So anyway, that happened. I'm supposed to get blood work done. So the deal with the fifth disease, or the slap cheek, is that I'm supposed to have blood work done to see if I have antibodies, meaning I've had it before in my life, which they say most adult women have. If I have, I'm all good. If not, I think they have to like just monitor me closer, which I'm already high risk. I'm monitored pretty closely already. I'm 36 weeks. I'm having the baby in 2 weeks. So to be honest, I will go get the blood work done on Monday. But likely by the time we get the results, and it might not make a difference in the next 2 weeks, but I guess at least they know. So I'm gonna do it, because if I have the antibodies, then great, we don't have to worry about it. If I don't, at least like the doctors and the midwives that are delivering the baby, at least they know. And if anything went wrong, you know, we can refer back to that. So that happened. And then that's it really. And then yesterday I had my 36-week ultrasound. I also had one at 34 weeks, so I'm not sure if I spoke to you guys about that. The one at 34 weeks, everything was fine. I get these later growth scans that a lot of people don't get because I am high risk. So because of the high blood pressure, they're concerned about growth. So they want to make sure the baby is developing the way they should be. So at 34 weeks, everything looked fine, everything looked good. I didn't get to see their face just because of the way they were positioned. They were already head down. Now that I'm saying this, I'm pretty sure I've already told you guys this. Maybe it's at 32 weeks. I think I've already told you. Anyway, so we had another scan yesterday, another ultrasound, and the ultrasound tech was so nice. Like, it was just such a nice experience. You know, sometimes it's not. This guy was just, he was really nice and really thorough, and like, I left feeling excited, like, okay, this is happening. So I have to tell you about the ultrasound. So right from the beginning, he's like, this is a big baby. And not in like a concerned way, just like, this baby is big. So they're measuring in the 98th percentile. And he said they are already measuring 7.5 pounds at 36 weeks. So that's big. That's big. But he said it's good to know because you're gonna be induced soon. So like, the baby is ready to go. He said even if they came now, they would be fine. So they're 7.5 pounds. I got to see their little face, and it was so sweet and squishy, like squishy little nose and pouty lips, and just looked like my other kids, but had like a really round chubby face. So I'm wondering if this baby is just going to be like a chub, but in my opinion, there's nothing cuter than like a really chubby baby. My other kids were big too, right? Ellie was born 2 weeks early, like same as this, 38 weeks, and she was 8.5 pounds. And Jacob was born full term at almost 9 pounds. So I definitely have big babies, but he said this one is on track to be even bigger than that. So pray for me. I really don't think the size of the baby makes that much difference in delivering the baby in terms of pain, in my opinion. So the baby is healthy. All their organs looked good. He also said to me, are you having a lot of indigestion or acid reflux? And I have to mention that it's been so bad, like so bad. If I can sleep through it, I'm dreaming about it, and then I'm waking up, and like I have to sleep almost sitting up. Like it's crazy, like the tiniest change in position of your head can make such a difference, but it's just like burning up my throat. I'm not even eating a lot, like I have no appetite. I'm at that point where I just feel like full all the time. Nothing tastes good. Ugh. Some people enjoy eating when they're pregnant. I don't. Everything is ruined when I'm pregnant, food-wise. Like I can't wait to eat something and just feel like that it's enjoyable. But anyway, even water's giving me acid reflux. So I said, yeah, I'm having terrible indigestion. And he said, it looks like this baby has a lot of hair, which is crazy because my other 2 kids were literally bald until 6 months old, like no hair. Whenever I see babies with hair, I'm just like, what the? So the idea that this baby could be born with a big head of hair is really hilarious to me. I don't quite believe it because I have bald babies. But now I'm picturing like a big chubby baby with lots of hair, which would be so different than my other 2 kids. So we'll have to see. But he sort of made it seem like maybe they would even consider inducing me before 38 weeks. I don't know if they do that. I don't think they do unless it's like a real emergency, you know. I think 38 is kind of the earliest. So anyway, I have an appointment with the OBs on Monday. So today is Saturday. On Monday, just over the phone, and from everything I've been told leading up to this, that's the appointment where I will get my induction date. So we'll see what they say. Obviously, I don't know, whatever is best for the baby. If it needs to be earlier, that's okay. I am my heart, not my heart, I don't know, I'm set on being induced. You know, I've processed that. That's what's happening. I am quite scared to go into labor naturally, because one day I should just sit down and tell the story of Jacob's, but it was just really fast and really scary, and I didn't like it. And it's really, really important to me, like really important to me, that this delivery is, it doesn't have to be a nice experience. I just want it to be okay. I don't want it to be traumatic. I don't want it to be scary. I want to be able to remember things. I don't want to be like my other two, just completely like animalistic, out of my mind the whole time. I don't want it to be like that. So my hope and my plan is to have an epidural really early on. Like, I don't need to be a hero. To be honest with you, if there was a way where I could feel zero pain, I would do that. I've done it twice. You don't get any awards. Like, it's really, to me, it's really traumatic. Some women find it empowering. I find it scary. So the bottom line is, I want to be induced before I go into labor myself. I'm really hoping. I know it's unlikely that I go into labor before 38 weeks, but I'm just hoping. What I'd like to happen is I'd like to go in, I would like to get settled. I would like to maybe even have the epidural before they give me Pitocin, because you know, as soon as that stuff hits your veins, like, it's on. And sometimes the epidural gets held up, so I just want it to be an experience that I can remember, and I can, yeah, be present and talk to my husband and just not be out of my mind. So that's what I'm hoping for. And I think maybe I'll really emphasize that to the doctors tomorrow, because it is causing me some anxiety. So another thing I should mention, I'm having a ton of Braxton Hicks contractions. I mean, what I think are Braxton Hicks contractions. I haven't lost any of my mucus plug that I can tell. I was having some loose stools, TMI, but that is like a sign of early labor, but that's gone away. But the contractions are really often, but they're not, it's not pain in my back, it's not like cramping, it's just the real tightening. But again, with what happened to Jacob, I feel, I don't trust that I know the difference, because with him, I obviously left it like 20 hours too long. So that's where my fear comes from, is I feel like I don't know the difference between like a Braxton Hicks contraction or regular pregnancy pains until I'm like in full blown, what do they call it? Like the end stage of labor where you're like crazy. Active labor? Anyway. Yeah, so we'll see. There's no real sign, so hopefully it's not happening anytime soon. We've got Ellie's birthday party this coming weekend, so I need to just get through that. She's pretty excited. She's been a handful lately, but also really sweet in moments, so I think she's just kind of overwhelmed with everything that's going on. Jacob is an angel, like always. He's such a good boy. He's so sweet. And yeah, I think our family is ready for another baby. It's so crazy. I still haven't packed my hospital bag. It's like I've thrown stuff in there as I come across things, but this week I'm going to really pack it and I'm going to film a video. So I already feel like this video has been so long and chatty, but I guess I had a lot to say, and it feels nice to just sit down and kind of let it out. Because sometimes you don't want to, like, you can only talk to your husband about this stuff so much. And like, I talk to my mom and my sister and stuff, but sometimes it's nice to just blurt it out by myself, I guess. So I think that's all I have to tell you. 36 weeks, 2 weeks to go. I'll let you guys know what the OB says on Monday. I'll have a date. I've mentioned before, what I'm thinking is the is to go in Sunday the 25th. That's my thought. That's the beginning of 38 weeks for me, and Eleanor's birthday is on Saturday the 24th. So that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm thinking. I'll show you my belly. It's huge. Also, I'm just insanely uncomfortable. Everything hurts. Moving is really difficult. Just everything hurts. Let me show you my big body. So there it is. Actually doesn't look that big, does it? I don't know. It's big though. It's definitely big. All right, guys. Well, it's always nice catching up, and I will fill you guys in soon, and I will have a hospital bag video coming next week. Okay, don't forget to like and subscribe. I don't have any new subscribers. I only have the same amount I've had for months, but that's okay. I don't know, it's still fun. I still like it, so keep watching. Okay, bye.